Hello, hello, my friends, and welcome to tonight's episode of The Strength of Thousands Adventure Path here on twitch.tv/tabletop rolls. We hope that you are having a wonderful night tonight. Sorry, Zoe. The mods. We hope that you're having a wonderful night tonight. We got a lot of cool stuff going on here on the channel, and we're going to tell you about it right now. Some of that stuff includes our other shows, like Wild Ambition. It's our PF2 homebrew campaign, a Wild West adventure. You can see pretty much everyone in this show on it, minus Sarah. But eventually I'll probably drag Sarah on as a guest, because I have an NPC that I want them to play. So, come and listen to Abby sing about her Crocs on Wednesday.
Her lovely lady Crocs.
Speaking of lovely people, we have on Friday the Astral Calling. It's our D&D 5e spelljamming adventure. They're in space. Now, the space station on the inside of the sun that they were being housed at for a short time in another dimension is being attacked by plants, and they're trying to stop that because they may have been the cause by opening a drawer. Oops.
It's a real prickly situation if cactuses get involved.
It is. Then Saturday, Salt and Strategy and Sorcery with Will, Chad, Matt, and Crystal Calf playing through Solasta, Crown of the Magister. Will we get another gem this week? Join us and find out. Speaking of gems, Stardew Sunday. Every Sunday, Stardew Valley with friends. It has Will, it has Sarah, it has Aubrey, it has Emily. Join us this week as we probably finish the community center off, and as Sarah probably romances Shane.
One more heart until we get those blue chickens.
I just saw a post about plushies for all the colors of chickens you can get for Stardew Valley.
You can get them on Temu.com.
Yes.
That's where I got mine.
Of course you did.
Now, before we continue, though, I did promise Sarah this on Sunday. I forgot to do it before stream. So, McKenna, the Rowlet.
It's in my bedroom right now.
Okay. We'll have to show Sarah after stream.
I had a friend who got me a very special little Rowlet on his trip to Japan. And it's very fuzzy and like pastel colored, and I love it very, very much. But it is in my bedroom.
The baby is sleeping.
The baby's taking a nap.
The baby's
I didn't know they could do that.
Do not distract. Cap was so excited that he got to say that the other night. He was like, I've been waiting. For what? I didn't know they could do that.
All right, but Matt, that's enough rambling from me. It's time to let you. That's enough rambling from me. It's time for me to let you ramble, Matt. Why don't you introduce our players and then tell me when to roll the intro?
Hello, everyone. I am Matt, the DM for tonight, or Urban Off at various places on the internet. I am indeed a rambler or a gambler. But tonight I am surrounded, as always, by such a wonderful group of people, and tonight I am going to pose to them a very interesting question with every introduction. McKenna, if you were a soda, what kind of soda would you be?
Baja Blast, babes. Baja Blast.
Which I had for the first time ever a couple weeks ago at a KFC combination Taco Bell.
As
also the first time I've ever been.
I'm at the Taco Bell. I'm at the
combination KFC and Taco Bell.
But who are you and who are you playing?
Hi, I'm McKenna Ray Tynan, McKenna Ray Art on all of the places, and I am playing Avi, the Nick Terra Witch, and her Dwemer Cat familiar Agate.
Meow.
Meow.
But speaking of that feline connection, we've got Sarah. Introduce yourself and tell us what kind of soda you would be.
Oh, I would not be a soda per se. Hi, I'm Sarah Margaret. I wouldn't be a soda per se because I don't do sodas, but I am an Arizona iced tea.
Oh, that is acceptable.
Tall, refreshing, not quite good for your health, but you try to pretend that it is.
What do you
Also,
mean?
don't they have good like reusable like glass bottles?
No.
No.
What am I thinking of?
No, but Arizona, so I'm gonna be that person for a while. The Arizona tea brand is supposed to be 99 cents, but because of, consumerism, most stores refuse to acknowledge the fact that the actual company says 99 cents on the can.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be $1. But no, they'll up it up because, United States taxes and all that.
Truly, we are in the darkest timeline.
Makes no sense. That's first world problems, but that's just me. I play Charlotte, the naughty toxicologist.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, who would definitely have an opinion on liquids?
I would say so. Also, consumerism. Like, okay.
Yes. Can't even buy a poison for 99 cents on the gold coin. Or 99 silver on the gold coin. But moving on to our next lovely person, Zoe. Who are you playing tonight? Who are you, and what kind of soda or adjacent beverage would you be?
Hi guys, I'm Zoe. I go by Zosie Pose on the internet, and I'm playing Ophelia. She's our Whisper Elf Bard. I would like to say that I'd be like a cute soda, like strawberry or something. Maybe Ophelia would be, but I'm like Trash Panda Diet Coke. All right, that's if we're going strictly soda. If we're not going soda, maybe like a lavender lemonade or like a nice coffee. But like soda, Trash Panda Diet Coke.
And last but certainly not least, because he is the alpha of this channel who started it all.
Not the alpha.
No. The
please,
alpha is in the
never.
beginning of the alphabet, you Philistines. The alpha to the closing to the omega. Come
The
on.
beginning of the alphabet?
Greek alphabet,
The
alpha.
beginning of the end?
Alpha. The beginning
I'm
of
lost.
Yeah, I was so worried, Matt.
the alpha and the omega, the beginning and the end. So alpha is the beginning.
Okay.
Look, take it out of the cis white culture context. It actually is.
Can you imagine me making that kind of reference?
Yes, unfortunately.
Ow. Okay. Villain point for me specifically to use against McKenna.
Alpha.
That's fair. You know what? I'll buy it for you right now.
No, I'm joking.
How much money do you have?
How about this? The
300,000
genesis of the
channel
podcast not the podcast,
like
the,
that.
So
the
good.
stream.
I
The
appreciate
creator.
that.
That's actually kind of funny that alphabet begins with an A. I never thought about that.
The cat
It's
wrangler.
from the Greek root alpha, which was the
yours,
first
Matt.
letter. That's why it's alphabet.
But
We as a
hello.
culture. Hi.
Philistines.
Hello, I'm Will. Also known as
What kind of
Tabletop
soda?
Rolls everywhere on the internet. Tonight I'm playing Gamma, Igora, and Choco. And if I was a soda, I would be Beverly. And I'll let people who know what that is get that reference themselves.
The immediate anger on my face.
For anyone who's interested, just for personal taste, I'd probably be a vanilla Coke. I liked vanilla Coke. And that's now when I don't drink a lot of cola, there's cherry Coke everywhere, which I also really liked. But now I'm like, now it's just mocking me. I don't have Colas anymore, and it's everywhere now. It used to be hard to get. I would make such a big deal out of finding it in the store, and now it's just everywhere. And I don't drink because reality is a matrix-like construct designed specifically to annoy me. The Agrimatrix. Anyway.
I am curious about this now, Zoe. How often would you find yourself in Club Cool when you were still in Florida?
You're muted.
Well, every single time that I went to the park. because free juice, free fizzy juice.
I do love the free juice.
I mean, I was working there, so like,
Yeah.
constantly.
Cranberry, orange, apple.
I
just like
wanted
juice.
to maybe spell Italian wrong when talking to Emily and get in trouble with it. That's fine.
As long as you don't call it Italian.
Italics.
It's an italicized soul. Beverly's an Italian soul.
Anyway, what are we playing?
Well, it's time to roll the intro, I think, right, Matt?
That would certainly fill in that question.
And we're back.
All right. We are back with the Strength of Thousands adventure path, if the intro didn't clue you into that already. And we are now stepping into Chapter 1 of Book 4, Secrets of the Temple City. And before I get into anything else, I'm going to do something I haven't done in a little while. I'm going to read the chapter opener.
Oh, yay!
Back in the days before days, but sometime after Jatambe returned magic to the world, 3 siblings, Kohar, Luhar, and Tehar, joined together to build Mazali. Its people loved the siblings and made them joint rulers of the city. The 3 drew power from the sun and wielded the power of the gods. Together, these sun kings helped Mazali prosper. Soon, the siblings believed the city was ready to stand on its own. The 3 moved on, leaving their children to care for the city as the new Sun Kings. For generations, the city prospered, and this is how Mazali was for a long time. But each new ruler would forget lessons from the past, taking the lessons for granted or allowing their ideals to become corrupted by outside evils. The last of the Sun Kings was a young boy named Walkena. He ignored what his ancestors taught the people. When outsiders reached the city seeking refuge from the jungle, Walkena sneered. Mazali is for the people of Mazali, not outsiders, he said. The old Sun Kings watched as Walkena treated the outsiders with cruelty. Angered at his actions, the Sun Kings called on the people of Mazali to help. Some called out, "O Sun Kings, lend us your might so that we may teach Walkena a lesson." The Sun Kings obliged. With the power of the Sun Kings at hand, these people laughed and laughed. Now no one could stop them, not even Walkena. Chapter 1. Words for the Dead.
Well then.
Yes. Since graduating as lore speakers and becoming teachers at the Magambia, the heroes have come a long way and accomplished much, earning the respect of their peers at the Magambia and the community in Nantambu. Word of these new lore speakers has traveled far. They cared for their students so much that they risked their lives to search for a student's family far from Nantambu, even after she abandoned her lessons. They also scoured the ruins of Bloodsail and faced off against the Knights of Abednego. These lore speakers are heroes. Now that they have returned to the Magambia from Jula, they've been the talk of the Academy, even more so than Ophelia was before. And several attendants have been doing their best to learn from them. People the heroes called teachers only a short time ago now look upon them respectfully as peers. The notoriety they've gained has earned the heroes an opportunity to serve the Magambia in an even greater capacity. High Sun Mage Oyamba is looking for an opportunity to send the Magambia's best members on a diplomatic mission. to the city of Mazali. With their burgeoning fame and several noble feats under their belt, from different classes and different feats, High Sun Mage Oyaba sees the heroes as ideal representatives. As this adventure begins, Oyaba invites them to meet in the Arkhorn Library. So that was what kind of the letter that arrived to you guys at the end of last session. You guys can head to the library right away, or if there's anything you want to quickly do beforehand, feel free.
Is the library our last stop on the way out of Magambia? Because technically we don't know what this is about.
You guys, there's going to be stuff to do, I think, before that.
Okay, then yeah, I don't mind going right away if nobody else minds.
No, not at all. Also, thanks, Solon, for the raid.
Yeah.
It's a very good time. We're just starting.
Yes, if y'all are new here, don't forget to follow.
I'm dying.
Frog will hop across the screen.
I apologize to chat. My allergies are making me very difficult.
I thought you were choking on your tea.
That too, because I coughed at the same time I drank.
Oh no. Hopefully it didn't go up your nose.
No. Thank God. Although that would have cleared my sinuses, I imagine.
Chat, lend your energy to Sarah. Send her all the healing vibes.
Heal.
It's going to be like the
I do believe
Dragon
in
Ball.
Sarah. I do.
Super Spirit Bomb. Sarah is our Saiyan fighting Frieza and just like channeling the Spirit Bomb.
I'd like to point out the Spirit Bomb didn't kill Vegeta, didn't kill Frieza. I think it only actually killed Omega Shenron.
Yeah.
And that's in GT, which a lot of people don't even consider canon anymore.
It's not as great. Kamehameha is overhyped, mind you, but it's like that's the end all be all.
It did kill Kid Buu, though, I must admit that. Anyway, so no objections. You guys head to meet with Oyamba. You encounter some block text. The doors open to a bookshelf-lined room containing a small stage. Several people are already here, including Teacher Ott, Korode Alama, and several other faculty members. High Sun Mage Oyaba, wearing his red cloak and leopard mask, steps from the group. He opens his arms and says, "Ah, there they are, our famous lore speakers. Welcome. You're just in time. I was just about to explain the task at hand. Please, all of you, take a seat." High Sun Mage Oyaba is an impressive figure. Possibly, I don't know, you may have different standards. His steps are wide and heavy, but he seems to glide across the stage as he moves, suggesting a grace that his rigid movements belie. His voice carries from the stage with the charisma and electricity of a teacher with long experience. Oyaba explains that the city of Mazali is a place of great culture, fine crafts, and a storied history. Unfortunately, the city's ruler, God King Walkana, seems intent on stymieing the city's potential. Walkana returned from the dead over a century ago, liberating the city from a group of Chalaxian invaders. While Masali was free from the tyranny of these raiders, it was replaced by a different type of tyranny altogether, Walkana's. Now Walkana rules the city, but does so with cruelty. He demands his people's loyalty and worship, punishes anyone who questions his rule, and has banned all non-native Mawagi people from his city. The people of Mazali suffer under Walkana's rule. Oyaba makes a point of stressing his next point. The Magambia is not dedicated to revolution, assassination, or liberation of the subjugated. It is a place of learning, teaching, and charity. Oyaba believes the Magambia can help Mazali and its people using peaceful methods. He is proposing a diplomatic mission to the city, one that can convince Walkana and his ruling council of Mawaniasa to open the city to outsiders. With the city open to outside influence, The Magambia and other groups can enter the city and improve trade and the overall health of the citizenry. At the very least, if the Magambia can put a stop to Walkana's casual slaughter of non-Mawagi people from its draconian laws, it will save dozens, if not hundreds, of lives. Oyamba doesn't expect this diplomatic mission to change Walkana's heart entirely, but this important first step opens the door to the possibility for greater change for Mazzali in the future. Little steps. Oyamba warns the task will not be a simple one. Negotiations will require several weeks or even several months of work. Evil people lead Mazzali, including Walkana, who I believe is like lawful evil, the God King's inner circle, and the Council of Owanase. Each of them will be on the lookout for an opportunity for the Magambian delegation to slip up and break one of the city's laws.
All right.
Another complication is the existence of the Bright Lions, a local group dedicated to rising up against Walkana and liberating the city from his rule. The Magambia has no official contact with the Bright Lions, but it's likely the group will try and contact the delegation, which might complicate matters. Officially, the Magambia empathizes with the people of Mazzali, but it's dedicated to a liberation of the city via diplomatic means. As such, the Magambia forbids the delegation from working with the Bright Lions, no matter how appealing their cause. And at this point, Oyaba kind of opens the floor for any questions, acknowledging that he has just kind of dumped a lot on your plates. So
Right.
you guys can ask. There's a number of questions here that they have prepared for.
So go into hostile environment knowing that they're waiting for a chance for us to slip up, and just don't slip up. Easy enough.
What are the consequences for slipping up, hypothetically?
I will interpret that question as, are we safe in Mazzali?
No.
Well, there's like a set number of questions with answers, and that's one of, I'm going to say that's the question there, so I can actually read this answer because the odds of you guys asking the specific questions is a little slim.
Hey, kids, want to start a war?
Are we safe in Mazzali? Yes, at least as much as one can be within the city walls. Walkana has slowly warmed to relations with other Mawagi entities, like the city of Kibwe and the Magambia. Kibwe merchants have been receiving Walkana's seal for years now, allowing them to trade in the city. We've entered a similar agreement, allowing us to send a group to study the city and speak with officials. This seal allows you to move about the city as if you were a citizen, though normally with an escort. You still have to follow the city's laws, however, such as adhering to curfew and obeying Walkana's commands.
Okay. What
Are
the
there any
laws?
specific laws that... Yeah. What are the laws?
What are the laws that we
That
need to
I don't
follow?
have at the. I don't have that information at the moment, but I imagine it's simply like, don't attack people, obey the guards. You'll probably have to show, obeisance to Walkana at some point, maybe bow and stuff, respect. It is a city of temple, and he has kind of propped himself up as a, not living because he is undead, but a present god, a god king. And of course, probably any evidence that you've been consorting with the lions will be probably an instant execution.
There we go.
Is there not a small chance that we are being brought here to be made an example out of? It feels a little suspicious that we just go do this whole revolution in Jula and do it successfully, and this tyrant wants to call us in and be like, hey friends, I don't know if I'm buying that.
Well, no,
Worst comes to worst, we kill them all and leave.
Let me be clear. We are not answering a summons or invitation from Walkana. The Magambia just has received seals that allow us to send people to the city. They could have intended for us to send merchants or scholars. We are choosing to take this opportunity to make it a diplomatic envoy. This is the Magambia's initiative, not Walkana's invitation.
Yes. Okay.
We just have essentially passports, and we can give them to whoever we want.
So maybe we don't talk about what we did in Jula.
Yeah, probably for the best.
To be fair, Walkana would probably not have a problem with it, because the fact that you usurped them would make him believe that the Knights of Bendigo were weak and deserve to be toppled.
So he's one of those who only sees things by the perspective of what he wants. Got it.
I mean, he calls himself a god king. I think that kind of clues you in, perhaps, to his way of thinking.
A little bit of a hint.
Well, we've dealt with plenty of people with big egos, so should be fine.
Does any if you guys want, you guys could roll a religion or society to learn about, if you remember reading about Walkana himself.
Oh yeah, society.
Me and my...
Like 37, 38.
I would like to preface this entire mission by saying that while I am trained in society, I am in no means actually.
All right. Ophelia, would you like to know his backstory, or would you like to know his kind of current personality and realm, so to speak? Probably not going to read you both, because that's a lot of reading, but...
Well, maybe I can know one and Ophelia can know the other.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Do you have a...
Easy. Give us the lore, Matthew. Give us the juicy lore.
We like juicy lore.
I will give you the more relevant lore, his current kind of status, and his... There's an interesting aspect to him that you might not have thought of, considering he's supposed to be kind of like a mummy king. I'm going to read you the personification and realm. Walkana is still a boy in appearance, although his apparent age changes based on the time of day. When the sun is at its highest, he seems oldest, perhaps 13 or 14 years of age. He seems no older than 10 or 11 at dawn and dusk, and at night he shrivels to the size of a sickly toddler, or so is rumored. No one ever sees him in this state, so it's not for sure. Walkana always retires to his chambers in the temple of the Deathless Child before dark, so no one really sees what he looks like at night. His once dark skin has faded to the pallor of a corpse, and he still wears the wrappings of his mummification beneath his fine clothes and heavy gold adornment. He's never seen without his radiant crown of gold, carved to depict the rays of the shining sun. Walkana's mood also shifts throughout the day. He's optimistic and lively at dawn. He's usually seen smiling, and he's prone to make hasty decisions or even forgive minor slights. He often walks among the populace of Mzali in the morning, beaming radiantly at citizens who know better than to show anything but complete devotion to their god king and his bodyguards. By noon, Walkana is at his greatest strength and his most unyielding demeanor. So it's at this time each day that he leads the daily worship from atop the temple of the Deathless Child at the city's heart. He likes to meet with dignitaries and the council near midday, as they're least likely to take advantage of his upbeat morning moods. Me, after I have my first cup of coffee. If Walkana is rendering punishment for crimes so egregious as to warrant his personal attention, for which he typically demands execution, he's most likely to do so in the middle of the day. By evening, he becomes suspicious and paranoid, often meeting just before sunset with his secret police to arrange disappearances of his enemies, real or imagined. Walkana's realm is the city of Mzali. By his own design, few people can think of the city without also thinking of Walkana, as the God King and his domain are inseparable. Mzali has healthy industries and vibrant markets, and more people move to the city each year, but it's far from full. Empty temples, manors, and storehouses are found throughout the city, and finding a place to live and work is still very easy. The western necropolis in the city is barred from casual settlement or exploration, and the tombs and temples there likely hold secrets of the old sun gods that Volcana prefers forgotten.
He sounds delightful.
I assure you he's not.
In the morning, maybe.
Not even know.
Where will we be staying?
That will likely be determined once you arrive. There will likely be more than one party willing to put you up in some sort of home, but they will likely be attempting to curry favor or playing their own game. So you may have to play things by ear and make a prudent decision once you arrive.
Understood.
I'm also going to interpret that as asking the question, who will we meet in the city?
Yeah.
While Kana is not one to engage in direct negotiations and talks, preferring particularly with foreigners, you will most likely meet with, Nikiruka, his appointed speaker. You're also likely to speak with many of his closest officers, such as Themba, the head of his internal police, Warkanesh, the head of all of his military forces, and Zubari, the head of the Council of Moanesai, and his highest-ranking priest. It's possible there might be other important figures you will meet, but those seem to be the most likely candidates at the moment.
How secret are the secret police? Because we keep talking about them, and it doesn't seem that secret.
I think the secret aspect will probably be that you don't know someone is a member of the secret police. You'll be talking to some merchant in the street, and they actually have like a knife in their robes or something, and they,
Murder you.
It is my experience as well that secret police, their most potent weapon is actually fear. They, in reality, probably do not have as much influence or as many resources as they want you to think you do. But part of their power is making people believe that behind every, door and listening at every window is a member of the secret police, when in reality, probably not. But the fear is another method of control.
Okay. I guess my only other question is, what's going to happen to our classes if we spend potentially months in negotiation?
I will interpret that as, what about our students? We have plenty of other teachers to spare at the moment, so their studies can continue uninterrupted. You don't have to worry. The students will have plenty to learn while you're gone, and you'll have much to teach once you return. And we have every confidence that you will return.
We just got back and we have to leave our babies again. Man.
To be fair, they've been working the whole time you guys have been out on this trip. It hasn't been a vacation for them either.
Oh yeah.
I mean, it wasn't a vacation for us.
It should be noted, and to really clear this point up too, the specific goal in Mazzali.
Okay.
While I would say our ultimate goal would be for Volcana to give up rule of the city, a far more realistic goal is for Volcana to change his laws on the treatment of non-Mawagi individuals. He currently punishes all non-Mawagi with death, unless they have completed the lengthy and complicated process of earning his seal. We're hoping to reduce this punishment, perhaps exile instead of execution. If we're fortunate, we might even be able to extend permission for non-traders to enter the city, allowing us to send doctors and teachers to help the city's people. A lofty, yet still achievable goal would be open trade with the city, but aiming for the safety of non-Mawagi people should be our main goal. Diplomacy and trade are a process of increments. You're not going to change your regime through trade and diplomacy overnight, but slowly you change the city's policies by going into the cover of mutual benefit.
Imagine if one of us wasn't actually from the Mawagi Expanse for this, and how much more trouble that would cause us.
And on that note, we're going to mention who is coming with you. Yeah. All right. I will likely have to post these things in the chat later on, because there's a fair amount of information here, especially with spelling. But I'm going to give you the brief little Cliff's Notes.
Rundown.
So there is, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 named people going with you. Forgive me with all these names. Don't bother trying to write them down necessarily now. I'll put them all in text later. First up is Asununu. As an expert on diplomatic history and relations, Sunu is an obvious pick for the Megamian delegation. She also joined in hopes of studying Mazzali antiques. She is a teacher here at the school. Izem Mizitani, while his focus on archaeology might provide some insights on Mazzali's history, Izem is mostly joining the group as a means of seeking atonement with the people of Mazzali. Izem got himself into some hot water with Mazzali's government last time, and he hopes that by being part of this group, he can clear his name with Wakana. Familiar face for you guys, Korde Ulawa. Korde's laid-back attitude seems like a good fit for the group's mission, as a more relaxed individual might put others at ease. Korde herself is excited to travel to the Screaming Jungle and learn more about the native fauna, especially if the mission continues into the rainy season.
Hooray.
Mafika Ayuwari. Mafika's recent trip to Tianxia helped refine his manners and diplomatic skills, earning him a place in the group. Mafika also put in a word that he was interested in the trip, if only to afford himself some time away from the constant questions about his participation in the Ruby Phoenix tournament.
Bobby makes a mental note to immediately ask him about the Ruby Phoenix tournament.
Claude's old adventure path.
I'd like to do that one day, I think. Nahira, with an eye for the creative aspects of a culture, Nahira joined the group to provide a unique perspective to the diplomatic effort. Her understanding of local art and traditions may aid with understanding the people of Mazzali. And Takula Ott. A kindly heart and a warm smile can go a long way toward winning someone over. At least, that was the belief when Oyamba chose Takula for the mission. Takula, as usual, smiled and nodded as he accepted the position, a response that only assured Oyaba that his choice was correct.
What a weird thing to be on a first name basis with Teacher Ott.
Right.
Man,
Now-
tell that guy to bring some healing spells this time.
And also, 2 conversants are being sent along to sort of act as staff for you guys. One of them, you're introduced and they're kind of ushered into the room. One of them is a little gnome by the name of Timbly Turn, who Charlotte actually recognizes as a former student of hers. Timbly is introduced as a bit of an interesting case of the school, because not only are they interested in kind of magic, but they are also a bit of a tinkerer and an inventor. They apparently used to make like little machines and gadgets and stuff to help on their home farm, and then were attracted by the idea of taking their tinkering to the next level by adding some magic. So they came to the Megambia. They kind of excitedly kind of come into the room, dropping a few like gears and a wrench out of their pockets. They seem a very spirited and energetic person. They've got kind of several lenses of interesting goggles up on top of their little hat. Like, oh, hello, everyone. Oh, Teacher Charlotte, it's wonderful to have you back at the school. I have mixed your lectures, and I appreciate your help, of course, with that one incident with, the big boom. That was an unfortunate little bit in the class, but I'm glad we're all working together on this. This will be fun.
To see you again, Timbly. And yes, Charlotte kind of like seems to be smiling, excited, and then looks over at the other teacher and goes, that was an unfortunate accident, yes, which I thoroughly reprimanded you on, and just kind of like winks with 2 of her eyes.
Timbly kind of winks back, and don't worry, while you were gone, I managed to create a special scrubbing device that has almost got all the soot and ash off the wall, that one classroom.
The game's a character, honestly.
I'm calling it a Voomba.
I love that.
And the next one, in stark contrast to Timbley, who kind of bounded into the room all excited, the next person has only now managed to reach the top of the stage, and you see an older, like kind of Milwaukee, obviously born and bred individual, but they've got like a long beard with kind of the occasional little charm or something woven into it. You think you might see one of like the Milwaukee beads in there somewhere. And they seem to be wearing a bit of a hat, kind of tilted a little bit on one side, like it fell over. And he's got like a long staff, like, oh, hello, everyone. I I am Mufara. It's wonderful to meet you. I am a student here at Nagambia. I am possibly what I like to think of as a bit of a pioneer in the adult education track. I joined the school a little late in life. I wanted to put a little magic into my step in my twilight years.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Is he just like a very old human, or
Yes, he is a very old human. He literally like he lived a full and wonderful life, and then is like, oh, I'm going to go back to school.
Hi.
Ah,
For him.
good
Oh,
for him?
oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were a coat rack. Where are my glasses?
Well, I mean, I could.
You're so elegant and tall.
Oh, thank you.
Way to turn that around. That was good.
Mhm.
Oh, oh, there's so many people here. Oh my.
I lean over to Charlotte and I'm like, do you think he's seen me yet? Okay. I won't make any sudden movements.
Rawr.
All right, I'm just gonna check if there were any questions we didn't cover.
Anything we didn't cover that you want to tell us?
I think that there's a lot here, so I'm just double checking. All right, I think that is everyone. Okay, so you guys, after that, you guys have been kind of assigned your party, and you are told that you'll be leaving fairly soon, and the trip will take several weeks by land. So, is there anything you guys want to do in Nantambu or around the school before you leave?
I'm good, I think.
Igura is fine. Igura is fine.
Something that I meant to do last week that I didn't do, I got sidetracked for some reason, is check in with our former classmates. How are the folks back at the dorm doing? How is Essie and Cesare and Anchorroot and Miriama and
They are all doing various variations of good. I don't have any specifics at the moment. The AP doesn't really allow for that, but they've had their own adventures and misadventures. But their education is going well. Some are getting close to taking their kind of like lore speaker exams. Anchorroot is the same as ever. Still hasn't seems obviously more comfortable around you guys, especially now that you're kind of teachers and kind of peers and people she can look to for security and for comfort, even more so than before. But yeah, everyone's doing well.
okay. Is Miriama still around? Or is she
Oh, yeah.
off on an adventure?
She's around.
Okay. For context for Sarah, because I don't think she met any of these people and we haven't had a chance to talk about it yet. There was a cohort of students that entered at the Mogambi at the same time.
One of them was Miriyama, who I think was the only person in Avi's track, Cascade Bearer, that would talk to her after a certain incident with a lamp and a delivery gone wrong. And they were study buddies for the better part of the first year, I think. When Avi was studying, it was either always with Miriyama or Kiara. But I would want to seek her out real quick.
She is hard at work with her schoolwork, studying magical texts and the like, but she's happy to see you.
I was wondering, because I have not been around, greeting her and saying hello and asking how she's been, all the small talk. What have you been able to make about the illuminated tree? That new group that is sort of moved into Nantambu.
Can you be a little bit more specific? What are you looking for?
Well, I don't know. It's just that they were not here when we were around, and I was wondering if I don't know, if just anything struck you as out of the ordinary about them. I know you specifically are very adept at being a student of the occult, and if just anything strange struck you about them.
Hold on a sec, I'm just opening up Miriyama's thing again. Took me a little while to find it.
Yeah.
So she's taken a sort of passing interest because new group in the city. It's a little odd. They do have, on first impression, a very kind of almost religious feel to them, but they don't seem to like have a god or even like a sort of like a philosophy that seems more religious. They do seem to just sort of preach collectivism, like coming together as a group and helping one another, and by we're stronger together and everything. They have an expression, I think, every light in the tree makes the orchard brighter or something like that, or illuminates more of the story. She does comment that it does seem in a way a very kind of a younger movement, because some of their stuff, their teachings and their sermons, or not really sermons, but their talks, not the deepest, not the most well constructed.
No.
She says, as someone who has studied plenty.
Yeah.
One thing she has noted that she did find a little odd, because she can't quite figure out why, and no one has really answered her questions about it, though she hasn't probed too deeply. She's noted a number of the kind of senior acolytes, so to speak, seem to have like a interesting little bit of jewelry that some of them seem to wear. They seem to wear in kind of a necklace, or sometimes around their belt, a bottle of some sort of clear liquid, and there seems to be like a single like petal floating in it.
It wouldn't happen to be a lotus petal, would it?
No, it looks like something from a tree. It's a small little petal.
Cherry blossom?
Possibly. It's a little hard to tell. Like sometimes the liquid appears to be colored, sometimes it doesn't. It could be water. It's hard to tell. But just from a kind of academic standpoint, she finds it a little weird because it doesn't really kind of fit with the rest of their aesthetic. Like it has nothing to do with illumination, seemingly.
Interesting. I don't suppose you would mind keeping an eye on them for me. We might be gone for months, and I'm a little bit concerned about how deep they may dig their roots into the city. I don't
She kind of winks at you for using a tree metaphor there.
I didn't even do that on purpose. I don't want this to take priority over your schooling or, God forbid, your safety.
Well, I'm considering writing a paper about it. It's not a very big one, obviously, but
Fair enough. And you see Avi pause for a moment. You can tell she's making a decision. And she says, full disclosure, I have reason to believe that this group may be connected to Kiara in some way, and possibly her disappearance. I understand if after the stunt with the letters that makes it less appealing for you to investigate. But I thought I would tell you so you could make that choice for yourself.
It occurs to you by mentioning that they might be connected to someone who is responsible for an attempt to make people forget about them. You have possibly piqued her interest in a possibly slightly dangerous way. Because as you know, Miriyama is best known for summoning a devil on accident during a complex mathematical proof.
So that's how we got Mercedes.
I mean, who hasn't?
Miriyama is a little too young to perhaps have done that for Mercedes.
Plus,
Mercedes mentioned, remember, Mercedes, if you believe her, has never been on the Magambia grounds.
That's true. That was a possibility I was prepared for, and why Avi considered just not telling her, but it was a matter of if you're not happy about this person.
She pulls out a little book from a drawer, and you already see that she's got like brown paper kind of on the outside, like a textbook kind of thing, but she's already scribbled kind of a crude looking like tree on it. She's like,
I have a little.
I'll share my notes with you when you get back.
Or shoot me a sending.
I don't have that spell, but I'll look into it.
Would you like me to send you a sending in like a week or two?
I mean, sure. I'm always happy to chat for a little while.
Yeah.
I will work on perhaps taking my information and making sure it's in a size capable of being conveyed in the sendings.
Or like letters, or like pigeons.
You're not here, and also I don't want anyone reading about what we're talking
birds.
about.
Birds over
Birds
several
exist.
weeks of jungle.
Birds exist.
Birds
Sending
over
is faster.
Birds over several weeks of jungle. Now that's a character name.
All right. Well, be safe, and I really appreciate this.
Good luck in the Temple City. That's going to be a interesting trip.
Thank you. We'll need it. That's part of the reason why I'm telling someone about this, on the off chance that we don't make it back.
I have every confidence in you. You guys are the stars of the Spire Dormitory, after all.
Oh, you stop it. You stop
Never.
it. You're too much. All right. Well, you have a good day. Get back to your studies.
She immediately goes back to sketching crazy equations in her book, and there's even like a little puff of weird magic.
Oh, can you also look after my Sanskrits or spell scripts?
Oh, sure.
Okay, thank you so much. They've been so lonely, and I'm worried about them. I don't think I can take them with me here.
They've learned a thing where they kind of they combine to form like a paper slinky.
Oh, precious babies, precious paper babies. Okay, that's enough out of me. That's all I wanted to do before heading out.
Okay. All right. Does anyone else have anything they want to do in the Magambia or in Intambu before you leave on your trip?
Maybe
throws
we
Molotov
sell.
cocktail through the black hat.
Sorry?
Why would you throw a Molotov cocktail where I'm inside right now?
Maybe we off-screen sell all of the non-magical items that we have, or even some of the magical ones, all of the like silverware and blankets, and we can do that after stream so we don't bore our audience.
Well,
to
let me say this.
Shopping trip.
Who's going to take care of that? Who is going to be assigned this task?
Probably Ophelia and Igora, because they are the two people that can do stuff good with
Well, let me ask
coffee.
you this now. who of the players is going to take care of this?
Maybe all of us as a
All
group.
of us
Okay.
together.
Oh, so deciding, not just sell everything
Yeah.
and let someone
Yeah,
like
we'll
count the
go
gold.
through and we'll sell and we'll buy some new shiny gear. Does that sound good, Will? We'll upgrade some stuff.
Oh my god, the attack!
What is
It came out of nowhere!
Zoe just said, "Oh, Will, no one's come for Will's blood tonight. It will be me now."
It's me, the hash slinging slasher.
For the throat, for the throat.
We have
Just when you thought you were going to have a nice peaceful night of RP and Temple City politics. Haha, stabbed.
All right.
Right
then I
in
go
the
talk-
spear.
Now I go talk to Mercedes.
I was gonna say, we zoom in, you turn over, and with her head resting on the other pillow is Mercedes. No.
And then there's a Molotov cocktail through the window.
Zoe,
I did say it would be an exciting night.
I actually did want to go see Mercedes because I did think of a price for her help in this endeavor because I'm freaking sick and tired of having these headaches and not knowing what's going on and having this weird letter coming from my own mother that I can't read. There's yeah.
Well, let me ask you this again, like I did last week.
Yeah.
Do you make any attempt to conceal where you're going, or do you just head straight out of the school into sit in the city, or do you say, "Oh, I'm going to go do some like grocery shopping. I'm going to go to a pub or anything"? Do you make any cover story? You just go.
I just head out. Ophelia is always off doing her own thing.
Hey, Ophelia, where are you going?
This is
Why do you want to know?
Because you're my friend and I care about you? Okay, bye, Ophelia. Try not to die. Try not to die.
I'm
I
kidding.
need your bardic
If
inspiration.
If we really are,
You really do. Everyone does.
Asking. No, I would tell him I have a problem that I need to take care of.
Yeah.
Okay.
Medically.
Also, hey, thanks for the raid.
Oh,
thanks for the raid.
Hi, you're here for my medical problem?
Welcome.
All right, now you realize I am like a licensed medic, right, Ophelia? Like,
but not for this.
You are not licensed. No.
Yeah,
No,
I
you
have-
are
You are
There
so unlicensed.
You are certainly skilled enough to be licensed, Will, but there is no one here who can issue a license.
No,
You've done none of the paperwork.
No,
young
Igor,
man.
I have and he like reaches into like Gama's stomach and like pulls out a frog diploma.
I'm sorry,
This
I don't
just
know
says
how
I
much
can heal who I want.
Yeah.
Yes, I can use what I want.
I don't know how if I trust a medical degree from a frog stomach. I'm just saying, like, it's a little slide. You might want to keep it in a frame.
Technically, Gama is a
What hurt
fey
his
creature,
stomach?
so you know
Yeah.
it's not a frog stomach.
Still,
it's
that's a
fey
stomach
frog
diploma.
stomach. I mean,
That's a
where
stomach
do you
diploma.
store
Anyway.
your important things in your stomach?
Anyway, yes, I would tell you I'm having a medical situation and I need to go figure that out.
Oh, okay. Well, if you need
Not be
anything,
here.
let me know. And, don't go to Mercedes, because she's kind of sketch.
I appreciate you. However,
Okay.
things are already in motion.
Ah!
That's a complicated thing to say. Jeez.
All right, Ophelia,
Bye.
have fun. I am going to go and spend some time with Shazare. Igor just walks away.
Shazari is actually uncasking something he's been working on for a couple years.
Shazare, all my friends are
Whoa.
trying to get themselves killed. Give me a double.
You can ask nicely.
I mean, if you want to start slow, sure.
Oh. Shazari never lets us down.
He's just doing flights of shots. It's just called shots, Shazari. Yeah, you can head into the Black Hat. You notice something different immediately as you arrive. The kind of like spider web bars on the windows appear to be gone. It's just windows now.
Hey, what's up?
You gonna knock on the door?
Yeah, absolutely.
You knock on the door once. The door kind of creaks open.
What shit-eating grin is that, Will? Get his ass so. Get his ass. I'm sorry. Special double fan moment.
2 fans now.
Special double fan moment. Okay.
Well, guess what I'm looking for at the next convention I go to?
You'll find
Yeah.
them too.
Giant
That's
fan.
that's the broken spine of a book, Will.
The broken spine, the core rulebook. The power.
The power.
I have a bonking device now. I can defend myself.
Congratulations.
Well, unless it could literally make a bonking sound like a bat, it's not a bonking device. That is a thwapping sound. Thwap, thwap, thwap.
Gentle.
You all need little plastic bats like they give to children for bonking.
Oh, I love them. Wait, no,
Little rubber
I'm not
mallet.
nervous. Can I go in?
Yeah. You go inside. There are the usual kind of green flame lanterns, and sitting behind the counter, doing some needlepoint is Mercedes.
Oh,
Oh, I'm sorry. We're trying something new with the door to add some more mystique.
why did I think it made me nervous, but not in a good way. But not in the way you would think that it would make me nervous in a good way, in a bad way.
See, you're already on the back foot. I now have a superior position in negotiations.
Well, don't you always?
I mean,
Excuse me.
maybe.
Anyway, how's your day going?
What do you think of my latest work? And she holds up her needlepoint, and it is a anatomically correct, like, human heart.
Ooh, you gotta frame that.
Well, it's not done yet. I need to add some highlights so it's like glistening.
That's beautiful. Medical, even anatomical. You know, there's.
I mean,
some-
I picked it up originally to do some sutures to keep my head on, but then I just it branched off into a hobby.
Wow, that's awesome. Well, I'm having such a hard time keeping hobbies as hobbies and trying not to monetize hobbies, but
Oh, I
You're-
know, isn't it the worst in a gold-based economy? It's so much better in a
Yes.
favors-based economy.
but I was about to say, oh my gosh, you should sell those. Those are so pretty and beautiful, but you should keep it as a hobby because you enjoy doing it.
Exactly.
And yeah, I'm talking too much again. Anyway, I'm here about what I was here about the other day.
Yes. So, the item that I think might be able to help you a little bit has come in. And she kind of puts the needlepoint down under her counter and tinks up a little bell and rings it. And her, Slender Man-esque assistant comes out of the back room and says, "Watch the counter for a moment. We will be in the parlor." She leads you into kind of a side room that you've never been into the shop before. You guys, I don't think, have ever gone beyond the front of the shop. And you once again find yourself in the kind of weird upside down sort of parlor thing where the chandelier hangs up from the floor. And you once again look up, box on the ceiling. Yes, I moved it from inside the cart into the shop.
It's nice.
Though your eyes immediately kind of are drawn to something in the corner of the room. Where previously, you remember, in this room there had been like a little side table with some chairs and the stuff where you guys, I think, had breakfast at one point. Space has been cleared, and there is a strange kind of apparatus set up. It's like a small stage, but there is 4 full body mirrors arranged at each of like the cardinal directions of this kind of circular stage. So if you were to stand in the middle, you can look at yourself from like 4 different directions, essentially. If you could look behind you, I guess. And Mercedes says, "Now, as we previously discussed, I'm going to explain what this item is. And only then, if you wish to use it, we can talk about the exchanging of favors. I wanted to bring this here anyway, so I'm not going to like charge you for simply having it brought here."
It's certainly interesting.
She kind of shimmies over, and kind of strokes the back of one of the mirrors and kind of looks up at it. This is the what was it? The Eye of Arathon. It is an interesting magical item. It was originally intended for very complex, far kind of scrying. You would stand in the middle, you would invoke a spell, and you would be able to look in a far location through the mirrors. Unfortunately, when using it at one point, a very powerful archmage was hit with a strange curse, and it did all sorts of inversion things to him. I think he turned inside out. But in addition to that, due to him being a powerful archmage at the time, a bunch of magic was released, and it inverted the properties of the mirrors. Now, when you stand in the middle, you, and only you, only the person standing on the platform, will be able to look inward deeply. People have used this in the past to visualize curses that have been inflicted upon them, or to converse with demons that have possessed them. It is essentially turning an incredibly powerful scrying spell inwards.
Do you think I'm possessed by a demon? Is that why I'm having headaches?
I mean, I would say not. I'm not. She kind of gestures to a chair for a moment. This is a bit of funny bit of lore that a lot of people don't bother to make this a distinction to. There are devils and there are demons. Devils are more intellectual, one might say. They are more persuasive and charming. Some might say attractive. They are the ones that people often take as those who seek to corrupt the mortal world entirely and pull everyone into sin. Demons are the things that are going to fly at your face and try and eat your heart. They are beings of chaos and violence and seek simply to despoil the world. They're not subtle. If you had a demon in you, it would probably constantly be whispering in your head to solve all your problems with violence, and you would probably be feeling violent urges, and you and Igor probably would have gotten into a fight by now. You would have probably I'm not going to take any more of your crap, Igor. Your skin would make an excellent swimsuit or something because it's like a frog skin.
Wear animal skins. So
No,
that's not me.
No, that is so last season. Don't even go there.
Yeah.
Do not condone that.
No. Not my style either.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think silk would count for that, would it? I have a lot of silk
Yeah.
clothes.
Well, I mean, if it's ethically sourced from local Anandi, then it's fine, right?
I mean, some of it is. Some of it I've managed to trade top dollar from stuff from Tien.
That's not how silk is made from spiders. It's made from moth cocoons. You have to boil them alive.
Yes, I know. That's
Okay.
terrible. Right.
Oh, Will, no.
You could have kept that to yourself. We'll just put something foul in our Zoom chat, and I'm not repeating it on stream.
I want to
Anywho.
go to bed.
I want to go home. I want to unsee that.
I'm tired of this great.
The word. It's not even a visual, it's just the word. There are many possibilities as to why you may be feeling out of sorts. Could be, an undiagnosed curse. It could be undiagnosed fungal spores. It could be a poison. It could be you've drawn the attention of some fey or divine being. It's possible you are undergoing a metamorphosis into something even more powerful than previously. The world is wild and full of many wonders and horrors. That's what makes it interesting.
It's really interesting, but also painful.
I mean, growth can be painful.
Well, then I guess I have a decision. Well, I guess knowing's not gonna kill me.
There was once a famous philosopher somewhere in Galeria. I've forgotten their name, but they believed that all knowledge is good and all all ignorance evil. That knowledge is just a thing. What you do with it determines what you are, not what the knowledge is. A sword can be used to oppress, and it can be used to liberate. I'm sure you have some recent experience with that.
All too recent. And maybe more to add to that. Coming soon.
Hey, Will, what's the key stat for thaumaturges again?
Charisma. Also, you could have asked Zoe that.
That's a fair point.
Playing a thaumaturge on Wednesday's show.
Hey, easy plug.
Well,
Last.
I think I want to do that. I think I want to go in the circle. I think I want to see.
Well, then we're entering into the next stage of this conversation. Then, I am more than happy to offer you the services of this artifact, but she kind of leans forward, and the lights in the room seem to dim a little bit, and there's a weird kind of emerald glow in her green eyes now, and almost a bit of like a hungry expression on her face. What are you willing to offer me for the use of it?
Oh, why her?
It should have been me.
So,
During Pride Month of all things.
How dare!
not the
Hey, this is just a
pansexual audacity.
this is a business transaction.
With the way Will had to physically leave.
So how big of an offering are you looking for?
Well,
I've come with a large one.
She kind of leans back in the chair, slowly crosses her legs, and says, I am willing to hear some negotiations.
So I'm going to start with the large offer. And because
Oh, I do like
you
big offers.
are
Keep doing that till it gets old.
bonk myself. And because you're
three fans.
more involved in making deals and you know, this is your territory, I feel like we can whittle it down from there. I have had a very hard and terrible time with romantic attraction. I had a crush on someone, and that someone decided to try to erase herself from everyone's memories. I told somebody that I loved them when I was younger. It didn't end well. I don't know if that's for me. And so I think I'm ready, willing to give that up.
Mercedes gets a very thoughtful look on her face. She's saying, I haven't had one of these kind of offers in a long time. You are sort of making an offer of an abstract here. Like, you're not offering a physical good, are you? You are offering an element of yourself for a bargain. Is that what you are doing here?
If it can be as specific as romantic attraction, then yes. Because familiar attraction, like love of my family and love of my friends, I would never be able to live without.
Oh.
And that is a very specific line.
Interesting. She leans back and very thoughtful, and you see for a second almost like the ghostly image of a kind of almost halo of arms kind of spread out behind her, and they're kind of like rubbing fingers together, and some are like seemingly counting on their fingers. It's like doing like some sort of weird ghostly arithmetic, and then they're just kind of they fold back up like flower petals or something, and they're gone. And she's like, I accept this deal. And she reaches out a hand. And she just shakes your hand. You don't feel any like spark or anything like that. And she reaches into her dress and pulls out a little piece of parchment. And she hands it to you. And on it is a just magical activation phrase. And she says, simply step into the center of the circle, gaze into the mirrors, and speak the words, and you will engage its magic. And I cannot even say what you may discover, but
If things don't go well, and if I'm in danger, will you send for my friends?
she actually very kindly puts your hand in hers and says, I will, but I mean to reassure you here. This will simply show you what is already inside you. This will only bring you knowledge. It might be unpleasant knowledge, but it can only hurt you as much as you are willing to let it. Unless, of course, it is some sort of demon that, upon being discovered, will attempt to break out of the mirror and maybe your chest or something.
I like my chest the way it is.
Well, I
Your
wouldn't
heart's been through enough today.
I wouldn't dare to comment. That would be
Okay.
inappropriate.
What would the activation phrase be?
You look at it and it just says Oculus.
Ooh, spicy.
That's not a good word. Sorry, I'm
Without
thinking of what I know of my own research into photography and horror
That's
setting.
terrifying.
Terrifying word.
Did you see it coming though?
Oh, well, also you have to put this thing on over your eyes and wear some special gloves. No.
And then I can see. Okay, yeah, no. Ophelia would just kind of dive right in, go straight in there,
Okay.
and
You stand in the middle of the circle. Do you speak the word?
Oculus.
For a moment, nothing happens, and you're just standing in this weird circle with four full-length mirrors standing with you, and Mercedes kind of looking at you thoughtfully from the couch, and then you are in a dark void. No ground beneath your feet, no sky above you, but you can look and you see your hands as if you were perfectly illuminated. Though not bright, it's sort of that kind of illumination you see on a cloudy day where everything's lit, but there is like no shadows. And then you are suddenly aware of two figures standing, one to your left, one to your right, where you remembered two of the mirrors would have been positioned. And you look to the one on your right, and you see, it's almost hard to describe. It almost for a moment you think you're just looking at a reflection of yourself. It looks so familiar, but as you look at it more, you realize it's not really you. There is a great sense of familiarity. You feel a connection with this person, but their features aren't exactly the same. They're very similar. They resemble you, but they are not you. But then you glance to your left, and there is a figure there that for a moment you think is exactly you. But then you see beyond the exterior, and there is a figure inside it with a face scratched out of reality that is in no way similar to you. And you hear it whispering under your breath, "This was not the deal. We're not supposed to talk like this again. I saved her. I saved you. You're not allowed to do this."
Who are you?
I'm Ophelia. And so are you. We are all Ophelia. And you've seen too much. And she lunges at you through the illusionary exterior of herself, and you feel small hands push you, and you fall out of the circle, and you snap back into the reality. And you do actually feel a sort of pressure leave your head that you didn't realize you've been carrying for weeks now. Like, hard to sort of describe, but it's almost like your brain has been holding its breath since, you got back, and now you feel a lot lighter.
Well, that was weird.
Are you all right?
Well, I'm not inverted, am I?
I mean, no, it'd be a lot messier if you were. I
Gross.
just had this carpet replaced.
Oh, I wouldn't do that to you, just for the carpet's sake, but
Well, I appreciate the thought, though. Admittedly, if it had gone, inside out, I'm not sure you would have had much choice in the matter whether how clean it would have been. But I appreciate the thought.
Well, I am left with so many questions, but my head feels much better, thank you. I think we leave it here for now.
Very well. And she kind of walks over and helps you to your feet, and she doesn't let go of your hand. And she says, "And now, my half of the agreement." And she kind of leans in, and her face gets very close to yours, and you can see the kind of lovely emerald of her eyes, the almost platinum white of her kind of hair. You can see now too that slightly little pointed teeth and the like, possibly slightly exaggerated canines and everything. Kind of her dark lipstick. And she kind of gazes into your eyes and tilts her head just slightly, and there's a smile teasing the corner of her mouth. And then she kind of moves to the side and plants a kiss on your neck. And you feel something in your chest kind of yanked, almost like a kind of a ghostly fish hook. And there's kind of a popping sensation. And Mercedes kind of tilts her head back and then kind of just licks her lips a little bit and takes a blank playing card out of her dress and just lightly give it a little kiss. And she turns it around, and that same image that she was putting on the needlepoint when she came in, the human heart, is now on the playing card. I, for one, am satisfied with this transaction.
Was it as good for you as it was for me?
Oh, I don't know if that's possible.
I feel lighter than I have in a really long time.
Well, I am happy to have been at service.
And Ophelia kind of takes her hand in both of her hands and she says, "Thank you, my friend."
You are quite welcome. Though she kind of does like almost like a card shark kind of thing where she kind of like balances the card between her fingers. I'm sorry that this in a way closes a certain door. And she just kind of sachets away and opens the door for you to leave the parlor.
All right, well, see ya after this diplomatic venture. Couple months.
Good luck. Oh. You know, honestly, I'm not entirely sure you got the fair end of this deal. This is, I think, a little more worth than you thought it was. And she says, I'll give you a little extra for the road then. Beware the golden smile.
All right.
Thank you.
I hope it serves you well. And she kind of very politely, but ushers you out of the shop.
We're off. All right. Back to school we go. Preparations.
You do feel like a little different. Just looking at people as you walk through the streets or anything, you just find yourself gazing at people like a tad more kind of analytically sometimes. You still kind of appreciate the beauty of people's features, of like their clothes, the aesthetics and everything. But, you know, like, oh, you don't really think, oh, that person's hot anymore or anything like that.
We love some ace representation in this.
Great.
I mean, like,
Happy
oh, this is
pride.
So for 10 gold, I can get approximately 100 pounds of cow.
we return to the school. Does anyone else want to do anything else on the at the school or in town before we head out on this trip?
I'd like to send Mercedes 100 pounds of cow manure.
Free?
Okay.
Salty boy.
Not actually, but I would like to.
He sits in his room. I'd like to do this.
I'd
like to do it.
I won't.
Put a bunch of
But I
poop on
like
her
it.
There's a
door.
piece
I'm a very big boy.
Get a very big.
Go ahead,
paper-
Sarah.
Get a very big paper bag and just leave it on the front doorstep of the cat.
There's a piece of me that's like, if Charlotte had the opportunity and like learned from Ophelia, like, oh, I went to this place, that's where Mercedes is. Charlotte would go and quite literally just walk in the door and go, do you want to have tea? Like, I would just like to sit and have tea. No, quite literally just sit and have tea. No exchange. She would literally have brought her own food so that Mercedes wouldn't feel the need to, like, equivalently exchange it. But it's just, like, just quite literally chatting.
I mean,
I brought a picnic. You want to go?
I mean, I'm sure you
Like,
could
we don't
ask
need
where the
to,
black
we don't
cat
need
is.
to
You could-
play that scene. I just think it has happened, and that is something that Charlotte has done as a thank you for helping and everything like that.
For the
Not-
book.
no.
I would even point you in the direction of the black hat to do that.
and plant a bomb in your bag.
No, Igor doesn't have that type of chemical knowledge yet.
You know people though.
That is true. No. Hold on. Just chilling. Just like, I feel like internally she won't talk about the incident, but already feels like you don't have to put on the airs. Like, that's fine. I know.
Is
Um,
this before or after the conversation where you become aware that Igra is straight up planning to murder Mercedes?
Fuck you! It's not.
Rewatch the tape.
It is
Those are
not-
the words that came
it
out of
is
your mouth.
Not planning to straight up murder Mercedes. It is. I have the ability to, but I would rather redeem her.
Okay, I'm sorry.
That's true.
Excuse me.
Will,
Before,
very-
after the conversation where Igor straight up threatened to murder Mercedes.
Well, no, he did say he's kind of changed his goal now, where he does plan to redeem
Like
her
I
if
said,
he has new information.
Worst comes to worst, we lock her in a tower and we say, just repeat after me, magic was made to serve man, not be used against it. And then we're good.
Don't you
Uh,
That's just
don't
evil.
you do it. We know for a fact that's Christian religion right there.
Yeah.
We
I
love
mean-
taking away people's freedom.
I mean,
Haha.
Mercedes does love a cask of Amontillado. Anyone gets that reference.
Yes, I do.
You think she'd stop falling for that after the first 2 times, but
Igor
No,
writes
I
this
think this
down.
probably,
No,
this is probably what
Mercedes!
happened
She
before.
loves it. She just can't help it.
My question
A
has
little-
still been unanswered. Is this meeting
there
for
is
your...
there is a story I'm actually going to finish writing where Mercedes has to make a deal with someone to get out of a prison that she's in. Someone has to make a deal with her to give her the power to get herself out.
Ooh.
It doesn't end well for a lot of people.
Oh boy.
Oh no.
Well, no. Let's just say it's before.
Well, all right, so let me get the timeline right.
Yes.
So you go for tea before you Igora has his sit down with the group, and before Ophelia goes and has her exchange.
I believe so, yes.
Okay.
Probably. I want to say as soon as you said she's got like spider web based sort of iron things, I want to say like when Charlotte went to go visit, that hadn't been the design choice, but then Charlotte said, if you're going to put iron rot, might as well make it look cool.
He's like, oh. I hadn't thought about alternative design. She says it's like sipping tea or something.
I just find spider webs to be very aesthetically pleasing. Plus, a spider is exceptionally good at making different intricate designs.
I mean, I do like the aesthetic. I have like some leggings that for special occasions that are like spider webby. I always like those. Oh, is that culturally insensitive?
No, that's. I mean that's that's really that's nice.
They were expensive.
Probably made from some naughty crafter.
Can I have some of those cookies?
Of course, please. It's like,
Igor hearing about all these exchanges after the fact, just sitting there internally screaming.
Well, here's a fun question. Do either of you talk about these exchanges with Igora or Avi? I know Ophelia doesn't.
no.
I'd like to say at one point.
So, once again, I am the one who is up front and am sharing information the rest of you are betraying. I understand.
Choco kind of turns his head to look at you and says, I'd like to point out, I haven't been back since you expressed displeasure with the concept, and I have no plans to, and I was upfront about it.
Mm-hmm.
This is
I'm not double dipping in that.
I have
this is
like
the long
outside,
game to get Igor to trust Choco again.
outside
Choco's
of
just
the
got his
stump,
head in the window.
outside of the stump house. I have built like a Choco home.
Choco can sleep in my room if he wants.
He's perfectly happy with the house Igor has built. Igor knows he likes the outside, so.
It's a stable. I basically made a Chocobo stable.
Also, Will, give me a quick perception check for Igora.
Sure thing, Matt.
Oh.
No, you might like this.
I know. I don't like much anymore. 20.
One day when you're outside tending to either the Choco hut or, taking Gama for a walk or doing your laps, you come across Endures in Darkness practicing some new spells in the woods. And he asks you to essentially spot him for something, because he wants to try a big new spell that he has. He's a little worried how it will turn out, though.
If one of our party members is going to kill me with a spell, it's not going to be you.
Well, no, he's
Go ahead. I got you.
He says it's more of a self polymorphing kind of spell, and I'm worried I might need medical attention. And
what are you going to turn into? We'll find out.
I've been working on my wild shapes, and I've never had a chance to use it, but I actually a little while ago mastered a flying wild shape, and I wanted to try combining that with something a little bigger. But I'm not sure if it'll work, and if I like sprain my body, I really appreciate if I had a trained medical professional nearby.
Go nuts. I got my full suite of magical healing and stomach mud ready to go, so.
All right. He kind of decides to try and do this kind of meditatively, and he'll sit down kind of cross-legged as much as his little stumpy legs can allow. And there's kind of a green glow, and for a second it seems like nothing's happening, and then his form seems to kind of melt a little bit, and then it starts to grow and grow and grow, and eventually what you see before you is what almost resembles a dragon.
Yeah.
Except it seems to be made of mushroom, and the wings are kind of weirdly webbed at points, like not almost leathery, but almost like mushroom skinny. But the weirdest part, in place of a proper dragon head, you know those mushrooms you can get for like Japanese hot pot that have like all the little mushrooms?
Oh no.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of, yeah, it's like a stalk of that just kind of waves and undulates.
Oh.
That is going to freak Ophelia the fuck out. I love it.
Bitch stole my luck.
Ooh.
Yeah, that is.
He would never dream of stealing your thunder. He was possibly going to do this so he could like give you guys a ride.
I see Avi. I see you went full Avi in The Last of Us. I like it.
Oh God. Oh God.
Damn.
And he seems to cast the spell without too much difficulty. He eventually, it only lasts for I think maybe like 10 minutes actually. Wild shape doesn't actually last very long, especially if it's the bigger ones. He eventually shifts back, and he is very pleased with himself, and he's very appreciative that you're willing to stay here and watch Amikra.
I'm good.
He really does look up to you guys as teachers, by the way. He makes a point of expressing this.
You do that. I'd say make better decisions than myself. I'm kind of just, here. But yeah, go for it. Good job, Enders.
Well,
look forward
I've always felt that the strength of your convictions is very admirable, Lord Speaker.
Yeah, you would think that. And Negro just walks away.
Oh.
Yeah, you would think that.
Starts to rain. But yeah, if no one has anything else going on in Entambo or Magambia.
No, let's get this party started. Diplomatic mission, here we go. I certainly won't mess this up.
Okay.
I know, I'm in the same boat, Sarah.
I can talk a good game. Charlotte, not so much.
All right. Once everyone is ready, the delegation heads to Mazzali. The trip takes several weeks by land, but the journey is surprisingly uneventful compared to your last few journeys. Especially seeing as the members of the delegation are more than capable of defending themselves from the minor dangers they encounter along the way. You guys have a larger party this time, and a lot of them are pretty experienced. Should note that old Mufara almost accidentally wanders off into the jungle a few times, thinking he was looking for the washroom.
Oh, here. I have a bottle.
Oh, thank you, young man. You're looking very, very green and healthy, I must say.
You colorblind?
I'm not wearing my spectacles, am I? Well, I can't find them. They're hanging on a chain around his neck.
Oh boy.
Well, if we have to sacrifice someone, I know who
Blue?
we choose.
Why do I not remember what color your eyes?
Oh, what is with you and sacrificing and murder lately?
It's his culture.
It's the culture.
That is the root word of culture.
That's good.
But in all seriousness, when I'm
because
annoyed,
the,
I go back to my old ways.
because we it does say feel free to provide a few random encounters or encounters of your own design along this time. I do have one thing in mind. So one night when you guys kind of bed down, you're going to hit the city of Mazzali the next day. You guys are all excited and stuff, or I don't know, dreading it. I don't know how you feel about this trip entirely. Avi, you lay down to sleep, and just before you sleep, you do feel not an uncommon sensation, the presence of your little kitty familiar snuggling up to you. The night's a little chill, so it's much appreciated. Though there's a bit of a spark tonight, a little bit of magic, perhaps.
Give me air. What's
Ooh.
going on?
You
I
find
prefer
yourself-
Striplet head scratches.
You find yourself in a dream, and it's a very interesting dream. You're walking through the streets of Natambu, but there's no people around, and every time you look around, there are like scenes playing out on the walls of buildings and stuff, and you realize you are seeing like visions of your own life, your history, and your times with your friends, your family, lessons you've learned at the school. It's an entire city built of memories of your story, of the life you've lived. And as you're walking around, like, oh, that's funny. Like, oh, that was embarrassing. Why did I do that? Surprising amount of time of you just, like bat cleaning yourself. Like, wow, I did that a lot in my life. Wow, it's a surprising amount of time spent on personal grooming. Something does catch your eye though. Up in the sky, there's like a falling star. Like it's not like a shooting star. It's like kind of gently tumbling directly down. It's this shining little point of light. And it kind of falls below the horizon of buildings. And there's a rumble in the ground a little bit. And a shape seems to grow, not fast, but faster than you would expect, because it appears to resemble the shape of a tree. And the tree is bone white, like it has no color of any kind. But then you suddenly notice the images on the buildings, like the story of your life, your story sinks now into the ground and travels now through the streets and on the ground in the direction of the tree. And eventually you are now left in a bone white empty city, and the tree rumbles and shakes, and then cracks appear in the tree, and it splits open, and inside you can see a kaleidoscope of colors and images, and you see flickers of your story and other people's stories in the tree. And you wake up, and Agate is sitting there with you, looking seriously kind of into your eyes. She's doing the cat thing where they wake up and they stare at you. And at her feet is a new little runestone.
New rune.
What is the rune?
The rune is stories.
Ooh,
All right.
interesting.
The links. The links.
All right. You guys arrive at Mazzali the next day. The jungle gives way to the skyline of a skyline of massive temples towering over stone walls that surround Mazzali. The temples are each topped with impressive spires, statues, and other architectural marvels. Beyond the thick gates, the city is bustling. Excuse me. The sun beats down on Mazzali, causing the sandstone buildings to shine and glow with an almost golden light. Dozens of people, each wearing heavy jewelry and spotless outfits, walk around with smiles on their faces. Some of the smiles hold genuine joy, while others seem forced or even full of fear. Though smiles abound, the sounds of the people are less than lively. Murmurs and monotone conversations hum about the air, and there is a little in the way of laughter. Smiles fade for just a moment as people catch sight of travelers from a distant land, but they return quickly just as the people move about their day. As you guys approach the gates, a group of guards arrives and demands to know the delegation's purpose for entering. Asanu is quick to provide documentation stamped with a golden seal. After a bit of careful scrutiny, a guard nods and leads the delegation through the city. The group doesn't have to travel far as the guards lead them to the Golden Mouse, an inn only a few blocks from the city's south gate. An old, bearded man with a large build steps out to welcome the foreigners. There's a handout here. You meet a man. This man is Aziko, the Golden Mouse's proprietor and a secret contact with the... Oh, you're not supposed to know that. I'm just going to leave that there.
Okay, wiping from my mind.
Yeah.
What?
He is apparently going to serve as your host at what is to be the headquarters for the Magambian delegation. He, in fact, as he points out, there has been constructed an additional building to provide enough space for everyone. Yeah, he is a welcoming innkeeper, and he is happy to have you all. He is very friendly, and he eagerly greets the delegation, helping them himself, opposed to just his staff, unload the supplies and carry them to their personal building. The building itself is rather impressive, considering how quickly it seems to have been built, apparently. The two-story stone building features 4 circular dormitories, each with 6 beds. It also contains a small study and a lounge. The building lacks a kitchen, but Aziko can serve food and drink at the Golden Mouse's main building, which has a modest tavern and connected kitchen.
Modest Mouse?
Just as a bit of a spoiler, the Golden Mouse will be serving as your home away from home. In the the development of this extra space came with actual extra land, so the grounds are surprisingly big. A large natural courtyard rests between the tavern and the dormitories, which is a good place for relaxing privately and enjoying the fresh air of the city. You guys can find any basic meals they like at the Golden Mouse, but characters who want to explore Mazzali's cuisine need to venture into the city. Once you guys have kind of settled in and been unpacked, a visitor comes to welcome you. Apparently someone quite influential. This is Niruka, speaker of Walkana and the official diplomatic contact of the Magambia within the city.
Can I get the spelling on that?
Nkiruka. This entire diplomatic mission, you're kind of told, is a result of her work convincing Walkana to admit more outside groups after successful trade relations with Kibaway. Niruka is a stern and serious woman. She seems to, her eyes kind of quickly flash around all of you, taking in a lot of details, always analyzing her surroundings. And if you speak to her, her eyes kind of bore into your soul. She is always paying attention to what you say. She welcomes the delegation to Mazzali and explains that although Walkana is excited to meet and discuss the city, he won't be seeing them until tomorrow. For now, the delegation is free to remain in their rooms, explore the Golden Mouse grounds, or visit the mixed marketplace with an escort. She explains that a strict curfew is in place for the city and that the group must remain on the Golden Mouse grounds from sunset to sunrise. Outside these hours, everyone must have an escort until the time it is deemed no longer necessary. She also notes that any attempts at initiating violence while inside Mazawi's walls, other than self-defense, are grounds for severe punishment. I'm never going to get this right. Neruka coldly looks the group over once more before leaving, her eyes resting particularly on Izem.
Ruka.
Yeah.
Nick Ruka.
Most of the other members of the Magamia delegation have heard of Neruka. As Walkana's chief diplomat, she's one of the most powerful people in the city. They're pleased to have made her acquaintance so soon, although her demeanor unnerves all of them except for the perpetually placid Takulu. They get into settling in. Someone has to rescue the old one from a closet.
Oh boy.
Yes.
Got a leash on that one.
By the by, there are, I believe, stationed outside the Golden Mouse, waiting to be called upon if necessary, your potential escort, the Jackal Guard.
Jackal Guard.
Yes.
Okay.
Ooh, that's cool.
Yes, they have been assigned to you guys by the Master of Spears, Wuknesh. They are the elite guard of the city. Each member of the delegation is assigned a pair of guards who meet with the person they're assigned to, guard them at sunrise, and follow the members around until sunset, rotating out with other guards as necessary. They inform you this is to be the process.
Alright, so for each of us, there's 2 guards. That's good to know.
Yeah. So, yeah. As you guys settle into your surroundings, you look out at the city around you, at this unfamiliar land and unfamiliar people. We are going to call it here for this evening because you guys have just stepped into a very big world, so to speak.
But thankfully, we have diplomatic immunity.
That is not a thing.
Oh God,
don't.
we really do not.
You have diplomatic vulnerability.
Yeah.
Diplomatic.
Everything you do
aim.
reflects on the Magambia.
Yeah. Sneeze wrong and you have done crimes.
Alright, well, chat, thank you all so much for coming to tonight's episode. Don't forget to check out many other shows on the channel, like Wild Ambition on Wednesday and The Astral Calling on Friday. And join us next week as we finally actually start Book 4.
Let's go, and hopefully we don't create war.
Hopefully. And if it does, we just have to kill a god. We can do that. At least half of us have played Final Fantasy. Alright, thank you all so much for coming, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye-bye.
Have a good night, everyone.
No.